One thing I could add is that as part of the New Amsterdam History Center project itself, we'll have the wonderful images of Len, and as both Perth and Len have talked about, it's based on historical documentation and information found from primary sources and other write-ups of people over the years have written books about. Most of these publications will be available, and they are now just being put up on the website where we can sort of be able to go back and forth, click on a house and see what Stokes said about that house, look at the references, and then go to these primary sources. We have a working workspace now. I don't want to release what that is yet, but it will shortly be available for people to go back and forth. And one of the concepts, basically, is in a sense, is interpretation. So down the road, as we learn more information, if somebody actually picks up more detail, or another excavation is done by an archaeologist, we'll be able to update these images over time.
Yes.
Yeah, I was wondering, both of you together, which artists you in visuals and you with words, can't you get together and write a really school book and over lots of with that history of the experience America can be told? Because children here still don't have a clue.
No,
Or,
Yeah, I think
not enough is in the curriculum.
No, I find with children, I've done programs like this in schools, and it's easy to engage fifth graders with imagery because they see us, and if you get someone's attention, usually you can tell them a story. It's incredible. Like I spoke at a breakfast meeting about a week ago of executives, and the host of the program said, now this is in Albany, we're celebrating our 100th, our bicentennial celebration is next year. How many here in this room know what that celebration is about? And I was shocked. It was about half of the audience. The other half didn't know. They didn't know about Henry Hudson. They didn't know about the Athlone. They don't. New York State history is not that hard to understand. There were Native Americans here. The Dutch came. The English came. We had, and the Industrial Revolution happened. And beyond that, I mean, that's not how you take each one of those pieces, and if you get sort of timeline clear in your head, it's not that hard to understand it. Yes, in the back.
I wanted to mention that 3 days a week there are New York public school children at the Wyckoff Farmhouse and Museum, and through May we're entirely booked, and it's part of the New York historical curriculum. And the Wyckoff Farmhouse is part of the Historic House Trust of New York City. So it's really very...
There's no real umbrella about making it part of American history yet. The English have been really much more forward in doing that than the Dutch. Maybe that's their heritage, but that's just how it is. They want to work.
I'm involved with the Historic Hudson Valley, and they have a site in Tarrytown, New York, which many of you may know, Phillipsburg Manor. That is also a working Dutch farmhouse, and they do have grade school and high school tours there.
Yes.
The digital rigorous models you built at Spence Street, Lower Manhattan, are those available anywhere to examine?
Well, they'll be available. I don't think that it'll be that long.
We're actually going to put this out on Google Earth 4.3 shortly, so you'll be able to
Access
get onto that website. You'll be able to see, beginning with the prototype, be able to manipulate that. It's very well documented by Google itself, so you don't need to necessarily be an expert. And again, the plans are, we have a grant to build it out. The plans are to recreate New Amsterdam, not just 32 houses, but 300. But that costs real money, and we have a grant that's got some money. So the concept, again, is evolving. As you notice what Len did there, where you had these images of what the windows look like and what the bricks look like and what the face of that building looked like, what the roof looked like. Again, there's, along with Google 4.3, is a piece of software called SketchUp. And SketchUp is a toolbox on imagery. And so conceivably, part of the History Center is to create an educational curriculum that would try to answer some of the issues that you're raising would be that we will reach out to graduate students, kids in high school, grade school kids. I want to go back to what Firth has told us about the whole idea of how do you write a creative story at all these various levels. We can use the same techniques that Firth and Len are using to help them become the next Len-Tantillo, the next Firth Father. What part of the city do you like? Do you want to do something on Wall Street, or are you more interested in Broadway? Do you want to be an investment banker? Do you want to be an archaeologist? Again, you might want to be a writer. Who knows? It's sort of engaged. You want to put an older one, perhaps the other to get involved. And so this is really what our mandate is, and we hope you have to be on 5 days every year to be on there.
I wonder if you've seen the American Museum of Natural History, which includes Fort Amsterdam and a few of the buildings.
Reproductive.
So do you have any comments about it?
Yeah, it's. I think what that artist did was they took Castello plan and they painted it. They did a rendering, kind of a rendering. The way I remembered, it's sort of a bird's eye view, isn't it?
No, it's straight on.
It's so what you're looking.
And there's Fort Amsterdam on the left and some of the houses up Broadway on the right.
I think if it's the image that I'm thinking of, it's probably based on that early view that you see as a map cartouche that shows the Church of St. Nicholas and the windmill and some of the. Does it have the gallows in it?
No.
It doesn't have the gallows in it.
It's just a close-up of a piece of the fort and about 4 or 5 buildings.
Do you know when it was done?
The 30s.
The 30s. One of the things that I notice is because a lot of my work has been based in Albany, there was an artist in Albany named David Lithgow who did something similar to what I'm doing in his time, which was the 30s. Artists are influenced by our lives and our historical biases, and so you see history through our eyes in our time, and so those images from the 30s, you can see a lot of how Hollywood movie depictions of colonial times affected the imagery. And for Lithgow the artists that day, they don't have access to the same data. The data that we have is better. There's been more translations. Scientists have been working. They've been digging holes in the ground. They've been finding stuff. So that influences all this imagery. There's a great, great danger. This is what disturbs me a little bit about what I'm doing. There's a great danger in future of taking those things, those images, those pictures, as being literal depictions of something, as if they were a photograph. They're an interpretation. It's very important to balance speculation with science. Very important. And I think maybe 20 years from now, or 30 years from now, or 40 years from now, when some other artist is doing something like this, and there's more information, my stuff will probably look fairly crude. But any picture is better than no picture, because any picture, at least it invigorates our imagination, and it stimulates discussion, and it generates historical arguments. But that's all good, because we just keep filtering through the facts until the common denominators start to fall out, and that's if I'm contributing anything, I think I'm contributing to the thought of historical. I want to just get this, and I'll get you, Joe.